Good evening, Internet, and welcome to the Mysidian Jumping Club here on the Free Enterprise channel. I am Huffin, joined on the mic by Antidale. Antidale, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. Ready to see what the runners make of the new flags for the Mysidian Drumming Club. This is now the third iteration of it. And because the ladder that we have going on for Free Enterprise features a fairly fun and breezy flag set, this one's a little bit harder. So it's going to be really interesting to see what people make of some of the flags that I've decided to turn on or off this time around.
Yeah, we are seeing, well, from my perspective, I'm seeing a few things in this flag set that are kind of reminiscent of our recent Laliho League tournament. But of course, the main difference, the thing that this whole club is named after, we do have Push B to Jump, that classic April Fool's flag that just lets us break the game in fascinating ways.
Yeah, it's really like every seed's a magma key seed because you can get underground without anything else. You can just kind of make a nice hop over a mountain and get right underground through the hook route, not fight a single thing. But some of the flags that we turned off this time around, there's actually no glitches available. So there is no life glitching. There is no Rydia getting a self glitch. So we kind of make the grind a little bit different that way because, well, we've turned on Classic Giant, Trade the Pink Tail, and the Sealed Cave all as static objectives. There are two random ones that are either bosses or characters. And this time around, it looks like not bosses, but locations, the quest items or characters. And it looks like we have to get two characters this time, possibly, for either getting Kane or Tella.
I mean, Kane is basically the avatar of the jumping club, uh, if you will. And of course, Tella pretty commonly valuable. I think even with the glitches off, and with the flag set that we're looking at, I think having that sage around can facilitate a few things, depending on what strats you end up finding that you need to do. And
Agreed.
we'll get to see Bad Karma and Flurry 14 here as our highlighted runners and see how they decide to handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be really interesting. And like you were saying, Tella's utility is still really strong. And because we can hop over some boss trigger locations, we actually have to fight uh, the, uh, the main altar there in the Crystal Room at Mount Ordeal. So we're able to power up Tella almost right away. You can likely loot Baron Castle right away and go pick up maybe a J item or two and go head straight up our deals if you'd like. You can go pick up some characters up in Tower of Zot immediately and hop out and not fight anything. You won't get the key item from Zot, but at least you can get characters. You could go visit Edward in bed too while you're there, and also the Twin Harp, all as potential options. And one interesting wrinkle is that we know that neither Kane nor Tella will be in that starting party. Will not be joining Sid, because with Complete the Giant, the flag that I turned on, which is the classic giant, there won't be a giant. There won't be a character at the end of the giant. So there's only one of each character possible in the seed. So we know we're gonna have to find the only Tella or Kane, and there won't be one in the party to start.
Yep, 12 slots, 12 characters, and it looks like Palom is going to be our party member number 2 with a protect ring and a little bit of a random kit and a few basics to send our runners off.
Yeah, I love seeing a Palom early. Like we had mentioned earlier, you can hop straight underground. This is as standard, so we do have sirens available in shops. And Palom's one of those characters who gets a massive, massive boost in power. It really powers you through for the seed for a long time if you even get one or two sirens in him. So it'd be interesting to see what runners take advantage of that. And I know there are other runners that prefer to take a more standard approach and clear much of the overworld, because you can also hop across in Lower Babel and take the boss there um, without having to walk up the tower. If you're just going down the tower from the hook route, you can kind of hop over a fence and get somewhere where you maybe shouldn't go. But here we see Flurry immediately going into Baron Castle and doing some looting.
And Bad Karma heading immediately over to Troya to get the free key item. We have turned off free characters, but the free boss's free key, that is still on. And it is the Earth Crystal, rather conveniently placed.
Yeah, I love seeing that if I could go and check that out. We are on T Pro, so this treasury is not the most amazing T Wildest treasury possible, but still 1% of Tier 7 stuff. Adamant armors are turned on, and it's just a lot of good loot. Bed Karma can possibly stop looting not too long after this, have enough money for the seed. Although we do also have S-Quarter on, so stuff will sell for not quite as much.
Yeah, but we're already seeing Rune Axe, Silk Web, Crystal ring, couple highlights. I would say that's an okay treasury, but when you're this 2 minutes into the seed, that's a good treasury. You take
Yeah,
that.
you absolutely take that. Sid with that rune axe is nice. You can give him the crystal ring early when you're going a little bit faster. Hold on to that crystal ring and give it to Palom or someone else later for some nice defense or extra speed. Some good versatility in there. That ninja shirt, if you don't find or want edge, is a pretty good sale. And if you do find edge pretty early, well, that's pretty nice gear for him.
Yep. So we got now Flurry going and following the same footsteps. This, amusingly, this is a an early set of checks that the jumping has not unlocked. It's simply made faster. Uh, None of this is out of logic or out of sequence, as it were, thus far. That will come later, in all likelihood.
Yep, absolutely, and we'll see what runners do a little bit of paying attention. Since we do have one of the ways to gate underground as part of an objective with that the pigtail and therefore the hook, we do have unsafe flags turned on for both key items and bosses. So it's a little bit harder to tell where your intended underground access is for a while. But canny runners can realize that if they see a darkness crystal in the overworld and a magma key, or yeah, darkness crystal overworld and magma key underground, that really limits your hook to being either on the moon or elsewhere in the overworld, and it wouldn't be underground because both of them couldn't be underground. Definitely some chances for runners to have some heads up thinking through the logic a little bit, which is something that normally you can't do as much. Normally, only the warp glitch lets you kind of break the logic and go somewhere else.
Yeah, and speaking of breaking the logic, that is precisely what Bad Karma decided to just do. Dipping down into Cave Magnus, hopping over the Dark Elf, and finding a package that he doesn't really want. So we'll leave that in there. And, if we get desperate for a Kane or Attila, that is a character check.
Yeah, it's an interesting gamble early. I like the fact that Karma's willing to go for it. Because normally you don't want to walk out of Magnus. It is kind of slow. You want to wait for exit. But I know I will occasionally, if I want to one-stop shop in Troya, take that gamble and be like, well, maybe this isn't something I need, and I can just check it and reset and be fine. Um, with that being a package, that's definitely, like you said, a little bit of a risk there because that could be Artella or Kane. Um, it clearly can't be both and can't be the weight of both. So it is safe to reset. But now, if Teller Kane is there, that just means you're doing the other four objectives.
Yep. And as you mentioned, with the shops being set up, that sirens are always somewhere. Today they're in Eblin. And
Yep, that's a
there's
nice place to find them.
and there's a Rosa on Mount Hobbs being guarded by the full element set. Pretty
Yeah,
decent spot to find elements, honestly.
yeah, absolutely. And uh, there's an Eddie there fighting, staring at Mom Bomb on the hook route. If you didn't want Eddie, you actually could have jumped over that tile that Sid is standing on right there and not have to deal with the cutscene. Definitely something I do if I see a character that I don't really intend to put into my party, just so you can save these like 5-10 seconds of this entire cutscene. But elements are there, elements are gone. Fleur's got Rosa, and Rosa's another one of those characters that you really love to see early in an MGC race or in any push B. Because again, getting those sirens, getting her underground, getting Zerk and Blink on her very fast is a huge upgrade.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm looking at an early Sid, an early Palom, an early Rosa. I'm content with that party no matter what flag set I'm running.
Oh, absolutely. You got some nice hit points. You know you're going to get utility from Palom and Rosa pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
even if you can't get a siren early. Like you're pretty happy seeing these people as a full end game party too, with Sid as your possible anchor.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely surprised that Bad Karma did pick up Edward because again, he is a not optimal anchor, but a viable anchor. Uh, but we do have the spoon flag on, and like you mentioned, we have adamants available, and that combination actually makes Edward surprisingly strong.
Yeah, and with the giant as a known objective, completing that second boss is worth 300,000 experience points if you have 10 key items. And if you've managed to keep Edward taking a nap for a while and get a nice slingshot off him, 600,000 gets him pretty much to as ready as Romus is without a significant dedicated grind for him.
Or a lot of apples.
Yes.
He is still a bard at the end of the day.
Yeah, he gets a really nice hit point growth at like level 60, but it takes him over a while to get there.
But of course, this is push B to jump, so it does not take us a while to get to the underground. Bad Karma is already there, having jumped past everything on the hook route except the character check, and is now going to go visit Tomra.
Yeah, I imagine Bedcom was probably looking for hourglasses or coffins to actually make use of those sirens he bought earlier. And meanwhile, Flurry's found the adamant rock in Antlion Cave. Flurry might be doing a lot of overworld checks to try and make sure he gets the pan before going underground. Definitely a good thought. It's something I do sometimes, and other runners do a lot. There's just so many ways to think about how to save time in a flag set like this. It's really interesting.
It does feel like Flurry's opening play has been, kind of more standard. Not taking advantage of push B. Bad Karma, this is something you cannot do without push B to jump. Walking on air, you kind of need to be able to jump to do that. So we're seeing how taking advantage of that flag set kind of branches out. And there are those hourglasses, but also Thor rages, and it looks like okay. Just immediately walked away from the hourglasses. Is like, no, wait, I had a shopping list.
Yeah, it's like you go pick up some cereal at the grocery store and then walk away and then realize, oh, I need some oatmeal too. But yeah, Flurry is continuing this overworld checks. He's done a lot that aren't really faster, which is a good way to think about them too sometimes. Antlion doesn't get a whole lot faster than it was for him. I think he threw a J item or something pretty early. The elements wouldn't be too much faster later. Ordeals is often not terribly faster later. So it's a good idea sometimes to just get these done when they're a little bit awkward anyway, and really try and hope to get some teeth into the seed and figure out where stuff might be. Flurry also doing a lot of jumping.
This is a very bouncy engineer this evening.
Maybe Sid just cracked some sort of mechanical engineering problem. He's really happy about it.
Or he's on like his 4th Red Bull of the day. I mean, he's more of a Bacchus guy. Let's be real. That's his preferred drink.
Yeah, I mean, and he made the Red Wings, so I don't think he needs Red Bull to give him wings.
It's true. This is true.
But Bad Karma has gone to visit Young, and the Sylphs hopped over a couple walls to do so, and is now in the Falcon, going back into the overworld. Looks to probably be trading airships and then going to Fabul.
Flurry finding Pale Dim up here in the Mount Ordeal's Crystal Chamber. Not the best thing you find here. You want something that's actually kind of rude because there's like no HP here. It's gone already.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. This isn't a bad call or something that you'd maybe want to wait on because it's pretty easy to take care of, especially middle slot Sid with the Rune X and the Strength Ring. That was real fast.
Yep, and the reward for doing all this is that hook. So that is the canonical intended way underground as far as the logic goes, but it's also half of Objective 3, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't matter what 2 bosses we skipped, because we did turn on the unsafe bosses flag. So even if those bosses that Flurry and Bad Karma have hopped immediately over are Vavalis and Golbez, doesn't matter. That would still be logical anyway. So we could still have a Mega Key in the overworld, but we don't really care. I think each runner would be a little bit sad to see it, except for just 1 extra key item. Eddie coming with those charm arrows. Those are nice to see.
Yeah, it's not that bad. We do have the Sineki flag turned on, so he came with those charm arrows, a bow to shoot him with, and nothing else. Along with all the other characters coming with just the...
I imagine Edward always comes with a song in his heart.
Yeah, but you don't equip that.
That's true.
I'm sure there is an RPG somewhere with equipable songs, but Final Fantasy IV is not that one.
Maybe we can ask Boardface to make equipable songs.
Hey, at least it would be a new thing to pester him with.
Exactly.
That is now Bad Karma through the Crystal Chamber as well with a hook. So that puts all of his earlier shenanigans back in full logic. As Flurry is heading down through the Eblin Caves, checking out those shops as well.
Yeah, we'll see if Flurry does any using of those sirens that he just purchased. Once he's down there to power up the team a little bit. I don't think Bad Karma did at all. So
I didn't see any.
Yeah, so he's going. He might be going into Fable a little bit underpowered from what you could do. Flurry thinking pretty hard here. Does take that Bard.
As you mentioned, Azadel, there's only one of each character, and I'm sure our runners are thinking before they really settle into a grind, like, what party do I want? How long am I willing to invest time in finding those characters? How many checks do I want to do? And you're looking at these characters like, is this okay? Is this gonna do? So we may not see the grind for a little bit longer. I think Bad Karma is gonna hold off a little more, given that he dropped that package, dropped that character check. We haven't seen inside Baron Inn. That's another check that no one's done.
Yeah, Baron Inn, Baron Castle, and Tower of Zot are all available character checks for us. And for Zot, you don't even have to fight anything. You can just hop right up there and take those characters and hop right on out and not fight any bosses. But one thing that we did turn on to this season is the buy flag. So once you recruit a character, they're in your party, and then if you dismiss them, they're gone forever. So characters like Edward, who get a lot of utility if you find his spoon, but not a lot if you don't, are ones that you might think about leaving for a while and deciding whether or not you want to take them. So it is interesting to, and I don't know if every runner had paid attention to the flags. This is only the second race of the season, the first restrained one, and this is overall like the third public racing of the flag set. I had done a lot of seeds initially to kind of tune this to the way I wanted, and I think I'm pretty happy with the result overall. But that buy flag is something people are not used to thinking about with Push P to Jump. I don't think they've been on together in a repeated flag set.
I know we have the whole mantra here of check your objectives, check your freebies. I feel like sometimes we need the additional mantra of check your flag set. Especially if you're the type that likes to see the variety of what Free Enterprise has to offer and end up playing a lot of different types. It's easy to forget something from now and then.
Oh, absolutely. It is so easy to forget that a certain thing is on or off, especially the ones that we don't turn on terribly often. I will almost certainly forget at least 3 more times that the life glitch is off, especially if you see like the officer-soldier fight, throw a coffin on that officer, throw a life pot directly after, and wonder what the heck happened when you don't get the double XP.
Yep. Or try to do warp after doing the dwarf castle checks. You just look at that crystal altar and you're sad.
Yeah, that empty altar, and you're like, oh, that's right. And chat talking about the sealed cave boss, which is one of the effects of turning on complete sealed cave. You can pick up the item and hop out without fighting the boss, but that doesn't complete sealed cave. Completing sealed cave requires you to beat the boss there, which is something we haven't done in an MDC before. Normally sealed has been a free easy check, get your item and go, but I always like to at least turn on 1 or 2 things that jumping can't get you out of. And this time I made it your choice of, essentially, you're likely to complete either the sealed cave or the giant, and you can hop over the first boss in the giant, but you can't hop over the second. So it'll be interesting to see what our runners choose, and whether or not they actually do them both if they can't find Kane or Tella or that Pinktail.
Yeah, that Pinktail is actually another one that you can't use the jumping to cheat out of. You can't. There's no jumping path in those shoals to avoid having to pick up the hovercraft that Bad Karma has just done. That is the only spot where that hovercraft is still necessary.
Yep, so each of the 3 static ones are like that, where you still do need to actually do the thing. You can't skip all of it. Um, and that's just to make it a little bit more, to kind of control the speed. I know that in previous MDCs, it takes like an hour and a half for accomplished runners to full clear like 28 out of 28 a seed, which is noticeably faster than most other flag sets. Um, so we have to do a little bit to put a speed bump in them, but still not too much to make it so that it is still a fun thing. Ooh, and I spy a heroin rope that Bad Karma picked up somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't see where that was nabbed. I think that was just a little extra looting, though. Flurry over here, though, is going to take on that grind right away using the hourglasses, since I haven't found coffins, so not going to be able to one-shot these eggs with this party, and you do not want that dragon popping out.
Nope, and you didn't want to cast that Lit 2 that Flurry had highlighted, because the dragons actually will absorb lightning magic. But with that hourglass you mentioned earlier, and then all the attacks, there is 1 dead dragon, 30,000 XP, and definitely virus, at least on Palom.
All the way to Quake, even.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for, and there's Zerk on Rosa. This team is set to tackle the rest of the overworld for sure.
And sitting in that overworld is Ashura. That is the full defense fight.
Sid with that rune axe is absolutely salivating.
Yeah, this is just wait until Sid gets a turn.
I would probably be very hard pressed to resist pressing B to jump in this battle and having Sid do a nice jump attack for like 6,000-7,000.
Well, you only need 3 apparently, so that is Bad Karma through in functionally 1 swing. The other party members contributed, they helped, they tried.
Yeah, they put forth effort, give them a round of applause. It's a team effort there.
Mm-hmm. And that is the Luca key, so that is access to the sealed cave.
Yeah, so that is very nice to know for Karma. He will now have 1 objective completable when he feels like his party's ready to take on that boss. That boss isn't super scary, but it is definitely a little bit more than this party can handle for the moment.
Meanwhile, Flurry is heading into Baronin, and there's our Sage. Tella is at the inn with Octomam and a mystery second boss.
You think Tella and Octomam are talking about vanilla speedrunners, and now Tella is someone who speedrunners actually take out of that fight deliberately because he's so not useful in it?
They are. I'm sure those two are both very grumpy about vanilla speedruns. I don't know how Rubicante feels about vanilla speedruns, though. Not as familiar with that part.
I think it depends on which ones, because he's not in a number of them. He doesn't actually get to appear in the No CW or Credits Warp any percent runs. He only gets to show up and trouble the party in the No 64 run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he feels quite left out. Certainly compared to Mylon, who appears in all of them. But he is a gentlemanly fiend. Maybe he's fine with that. Doesn't really want to do all this fighting.
And we get a pass, we get a Tella, and we have Scala Kitty in chat reminding us that Octo% is indeed a vanilla speedrun category. She's suggesting that perhaps they're talking about that run, and how more people should run Octo%.
As we have our first objective up on the board, give a quick nod and a thanks to Ike here, our tracker, and Asuka424, who rolled this seed and gave us a Fusoya in the Tower of Zot. Why, thank you.
Thank you. I think Fusoya is strange in this flag set. You've seen how many bosses we haven't fought, and Fu gets powered up by fighting bosses. So he's a little awkward sometimes of how deep in the seed you think you're gonna have to go to see whether he's going to get nuke or some of the more powerful spells. It's a really interesting concept for Fu.
I'm sorry, I just love when our silly name differentiators hit Yang, and then decide they should just be called Dang. It's very good.
It's excellent.
Not good when he gets a Charm Claw. That's just an unfortunate flaw.
Yeah, I mean, that was him exclaiming that at seeing what he started with. Flurry, however, has taken out Karate sitting at the throne of Baron Castle. We'll soon get another character check, and we'll see what item we get out of here as well. Hey, there's that Officer Soldier fight I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and there's an edge as your reward for complete. Yeah, take the stronger Edward.
Yeah, one Edward. Maybe they're like Pokemon evolutions. You start with Edward, and then you get Edge after a while.
Oh, but what's the third form?
I think it's Zero Word.
I accept this.
Yeah, it looks like Fu already knows Virus after just 4 bosses, so that will help a lot with this fight. I don't remember exactly how much HP is here. It's like 4,000 to 6,000 or so. So this will be going down pretty soon. I would definitely be tossing that Stardust item that we see in the inventory as well.
Yeah, I think Bad Karma is holding off because he's trying to get the officer down and trying to get the XP from that.
That is a very fair thought.
Yeah, with this fight, the officer does contain the bulk of the XP and the bulk of the HP, no matter where it is set up. So if you really want the rewards, you've got to take that guy down.
Meanwhile, Flurry found a nice little Pinktail in the Baron trash can, so he switches over to the Enterprise, going to be picking that hovercraft and getting himself a nice adamant armor for his trouble.
Adamant armor and an objective number 3. Flurry is really knocking those out thus far.
Yeah, just moving through the seed really fast. We now know that adamant armor is logically locked behind a Baron key, but we don't need no Baron key. We just let it go. Bad Karma going to be shortly giving us the good news about what's in the Tower of Zot, locked behind that Earth Crystal that starting Bedward gave to us.
Amusing, very, very comical.
Yeah, we get a nice Twin Heart from it, and so that puts the package that Bad Karma had reset out of at Cave Magnus into Logic. We now know that is would be obtainable in a normal seed. But we'll see if Bad Karma ever goes back for it.
I dare say it's unlikely. Having that Luca key means objective 2 is pretty safe to grab. Bad Karma is going to go through this sequence. Objective 3 will be pretty safe. Giant Babel, as soon as you get a Darkness Crystal, you could do that. And we know where Tella is. We're not really going to need to hunt down Kane.
No, just the Darkness Crystal instead. Flurry had a nice long pause there entering in Troya Castle. I wonder if he was thinking about, since he's got exit on legs and Tella, going and checking out to see if there's something he would be finding interesting in Cave Magnus, but he decides instead to go straight up Zot.
Yep, that is Bad Karma through the Baron Throne fight. So yeah, it did make it a little smoother, I dare say.
Yeah, definitely. Virus is a good spell, and Fusaya does do good work with it. We'll see who stays on the team, if Bad Karma is willing to take this edge or not.
Oh, Bad Karma is going to go focused on physical attacking, dropping that Palo. Meanwhile, Flurry decided it's all about the black magic. Put that adamant armor on his Palom.
Yeah, I like that play. With Power Shirt that he had in the inventory already, uh, Edge is still pretty solid with that, and the Quack Kid with Quack and an adamant armor is going to do a lot of work for you for a good bit. So I definitely am on board with that play, and does keep the Palom, so has now both Fu and Palom on the team. Lots of black magic on his side, and Bad Karma picks up that Pinktail. We'll see if he gives us a nice Odin spot check.
Now looks like going to go dip to the inn, which he had not yet done.
Yeah, a good idea there to go to the inn, pick up a full heal from there, and then you can decide whether or not you're interested in looking at the Baron at the Odin spot, or if you're willing to just say, nah, it's cool, I don't need that.
Oh, and also showing us one of those little things about push B to jump and how it messes with the logic. Once you complete that Baron Throne sequence, you liberate Baron, you get that item. Everything that was locked by the Baron key is now open, regardless of if you have the Baron key or not.
There is one slight correction to that, just because there
Mhm.
used to be a soft lock. The opening to the sewers itself is actually not open. Because
Ah,
if
yes,
you
yes.
had the trade in the Baron Sewer objective and you did it and you cleared Baron too early, you would actually not be able to open the Baron Sewers. So
I,
board put it in, so we are able to do that still.
I remember there was some minutiae about preventing a soft lock, but I apparently had it backwards in my head. Thank you for cleaning that up.
Yep, I ran into that in a seat that I had rolled in an async once, and 40 minutes in said, well, that was fun, and forfeited. There have been a few other ones where, if just in the course of normal play, uh, or normal reasonable play, that if you would soft lock are prevented, there's still a bunch of places where jumping out of bounds, like off the side of a tower, can still soft lock you. I don't know if those will ever be fixed because, well, don't jump off the side of the tower.
Yeah, come on.
And I do want to give shout outs to a couple of raids we've had in. Rex Banner much earlier, and now also Smapey. Thanks for coming in and raiding the Free Enterprise channel. Welcome into the first restrained race of the Mysidian Jumping Club for this season.
Yep, just to give a quick recap, we started off with that Sid and just a Protect Ring with a few other goodies, but rapidly found that Earth Crystal off of Eddie in the bed. Bad Karma has now already dipped through the underground, done a bit of that hunt. Flurry has stuck mainly to the overworld, and we've gotten that basically all cleared at this point and gotten a few objectives on the board. Bad Karma about to get the first one of his though.
Yep, and Flurry does go back for that package. Makes use of the fact that Rosa has been up to Zata and we've rescued characters, so Rosa has exit there and is able to escape with that package without spending a lot of time. I'll be very interested to see if that's a Kane.
Yeah, because we know we have the access, we have the materials, we don't need to find Kane, but is the package check faster than doing the giant? Depending on your party, it may well be.
Well, as soon as Flurry does for Bull Defense, if that's a Kane, he's in go mode.
Yeah, we have that pass, so you could just completely disregard the moon.
Yeah, and since we don't have a Darkness Crystal yet, that'd probably be a little bit faster if you know where stuff is.
Speaking of going faster, here's Bacchus wines.
Exactly, the dwarves are selling the good wine this time. Flurry is selling a bunch of stuff toward hopefully as many as a whole bunch, but it looks like it's only 4 or 5.
Hopefully 4 is all you end up needing.
Though he does just have Sid and Edge as characters who can't self-circ, and does have Rosa on the team, who knows Zerk already, so he doesn't need that many wines currently.
There is Antlion in the Dwarven Castle.
Antlion is absolutely one of those bosses that you love to see in Push B because everyone can just jump, so no one needs to do a basic physical attack to get that counter. So you should never really need to see a counter if you don't want to. You're able to make a little bit more targeted decisions about who's doing what in a fight.
Yeah, but as we see, there goes that ninja. Again, this is push B to jump, so you can push B to jump, and you can also push B to jump.
Yep, exactly. And I love the animations as everyone comes down. I think Sid is using his peeping glass animation.
Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, Bad Karma has given us that Odin Throne check that we were looking forward to, and it is Plague.
Yeah, and Ascorian in chat asking if Rosa jumps does it use an arrow. It does indeed. Any jump with the bow and arrow usage does expend an arrow.
We have another Sparkle up here, and we have a Porum.
Goodbye, Porum.
Goodbye, Porum. Hello, Wyvern. Fortunately, this is the Golbez spot, which actually does not have a ton of HP, but it's still Wyvern.
And it doesn't have a ton of magic power, yeah. This is dodgeable.
And dodge they
dodges.
shall.
Yeah, Ninja Shirt and Fu's levels and overall magic power to start putting in some work there. Meanwhile, a very fine katana is found by Bad Karma behind that Plague. A nice Musamane. Not the dream, but he's designed to walk it out. That's some pretty decent XP, as well as the best weapon that we're likely to find for Edge, because we don't have the Supersmith flag turned on.
Question in chat. Yes, we have been seeing our runners skip quite a few bosses. That is maybe the strongest thing about Push B to jump. There are a lot of triggers in this game, and a lot of boss triggers specifically, that are just one square large. And if you're able to jump, you can jump over that square and completely skip said boss.
Yeah, it's the part of Push B that makes it, to me, super interesting. And that looked like that was another katana from Dwarf Castle.
Was that a Masamune? Did I get the Mura and the Masa?
It went by very fast, but it definitely looked katana shaped with an M to start.
I mean, it could be on the screen for a good 5 seconds and I'll still mix them up. Not good with names.
I mean, they're so close.
We do have Bad Karma going and focusing on objective number 2. Flurry going and visiting Yang in the bed. We haven't found the pan, so we can't do the whole sequence, just that Sheila 1 spot.
Yeah, and Bad Karma not saving there at the save point might not realize the complete sealed cave means you have to fight the boss, which would be really unfortunate for him. But he can get some good information about what is here. That's a tower key.
There's also the thought of, if you just barrel through, you hit the boss. No, Bad Karma jumps over. Oof. Ruh-roh.
That is possibly painful. There was no... Hopefully he realizes that was potentially an objective. Or is just doing one heck of a gamble to not have to fight that boss.
Yeah, I mean, you can always come back and actually do that fight. It's not like he's locking himself out of it or anything. It's just, this is a long walk. There's a reason people don't like Sealed Cave. And jumping over the walls and into the abyss doesn't make it that much better.
No, I don't want to do it twice. Once is fine. It doesn't take that long in Push B to get out of here even without warp. Those hops he did there are why I don't hate Sealed Cave and Push B and am willing to gamble on it sometimes. But definitely more painful when you skip something that you should do in order to complete the 4 or 5 objectives and get your crystal. So hopefully Bad Karma doesn't get too punished by that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tower Key is one of those key items that will not lead to a character, so that won't get us any closer to Objective 4. Could get us closer to Objective 1, though. It could be our Darkness Crystal in there.
Yeah, we could get very lucky and get Darkness Crystal and Kane is on the dais, and just wrap it up that way. So there's definitely some opportunity for it to be not too painful for him. But especially with an adamant armor available to him, that boss would have been doable with this party.
Mm-hmm. And I know I always feel like the boss at the Sealed Cave is going to be a little bit scary, but stats-wise, it's not that bad. Half of it is just that they play the really dramatic music for that one fight. They make you feel really scared, but it's like, you can handle it. You can handle a lot of things in this game.
Yeah, it's scary if it's a magic using boss, because the magic there is very intense, and it's also a very fast spot, so if you're not well anchored, or if you're low level, so you don't even have a lot of differentiation between your team's abilities to kind of manipulate that a little bit, it's pretty intense. But it's not that bad of a fight. It's one of the... because this is a fight that you do, it's where you get the Darkness Crystal, so it's something you're supposed to complete after Lower Babel, and so it's not that difficult. It's definitely a step down from, say, the King and Queen spot in the Fey March.
Yeah, it's no Crystal Sword Altar. It's no, any of those spots on the moon with a lot of HP and high stat. It's not the Bahamut spot with a physical fighter. Ooh boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little intimidating, but not too bad. You're mostly just hoping not to have to do this for the walk, really. And even that isn't too terrible. We'll see if Bad Karma is able to get through this Wyvern. And is.
Yeah, similar luck with the dodges and the high HP, and a single nuke in retaliation does the job.
Was it Mega Nuke? I'll show you Nuke. And as Discord and chat is pointing out, we did have a little bit of Adamant Armor switching for Flurry, taking it off Pal and putting it on Fu, assuming Flurry's Fu has about as many bosses killed as Bad Karma's. That's a good play, because now all of a sudden you've got Fu going pretty fast with Nuke on his side. Checking his key items a little bit, checking his objectives, thinking about why he did not get some pop-up text there, is like, oh wait, I gotta do this. He's probably cursing my name.
Well, it's CPU.
He's definitely cursing my name. Yeah, but it's gross. Like, this is such an annoying boss here.
Yeah, but I mean, the physical stats, the magic stats, they do not matter here. All it's ever going to do is that one Mazer attack, and that is fractional damage. So as long as you got the healing, you can get through CPU just about anywhere. Eventually.
Yeah, and we do know how much HP the CPU has, because you get a nice little hint in how much the defender is healing for. So there isn't that much HP here. We're doing a little bit of some yellow strats, get the kid zerked up. We saw Palin put on a Star Veil, and now we're going to bounce some nukes off of that Veil and try and go as fast as possible and knock the CPU down.
Yeah, because that is the attacker and the defender gone, so we might see a Globe 199. Flurry really hoping he won't see a Globe 199. We won't see Odin. That came and went from Bad Karma's screen in a flash. That's a pun. That's a lightning pun.
Jumpin' Jack Flash. We did see Globe 199, but Sid is a great target for that, so that's fine.
Yep, and CPU only gets one of them off before Flurry's party can get rid of the main orb and clear out objective number 2.
Yeah, so now Flurry's on a Where's My Darkness Crystal game. Do you remember what the 2 bosses were in the Fey March?
I think one of them was a Sparkle, and I don't remember what the other one was. I want to say it was Dr. Luge, and that's a rude thing to see there, so I'm going to say yes.
That sounds pretty fair. I'm here for it. And we've seen Pale Dim, and we've seen Wyvern, and we've seen Plague, so that if there was a Sparkle there, that's either D-Lunars or that's Ogopogo. And Ogopogo's not going to be fun at either of those spots.
Yeah, Ogopogo, it would be at the Leviathan spot, so that's quite rude. But even D-Lunars there is a bit unfortunate. Leviathan, meanwhile, is up here at the top of the tower. But Flurry is following Bad Karma right behind, going to make this same tower climb.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he didn't peek packet just to know whether or not that was his cane. But he might be thinking, just give me my Darkness Crystal, because that also opens up another character check, and I want to get to 10 key items too, to help speed that grind up.
Yeah, because like once you're done with this, you have the underground finished, except for the Fey March, which you really want to avoid if at all possible. So it's like you're underground already. Let's go do the tower. Let's round that out. Then let's go up to the surface and check the package. Maybe we got something handy, Sand Ruby perhaps, something to advance more in that direction, and we're done. But it is the magma key from the top of the tower, so if we get that Darkness Crystal, it was a required sealed cave run twice over.
And Bad Karma doing a little bit more of jumping off the sides of some buildings, has not quite realized or forgot that you get into a weird spot when you do the tower key room and how it deals with the warp return floors that you go into. So we saw him kind of have a little bit of his own Groundhog Day, hopping off the side of the building to end up on the floor above where he was a couple times there. Which is always a little bit fun to see and frustrating to do as a runner, just because you're not used to the floor incrementing weirdly and differently when you actually go into the tower key room.
Yeah, this game absolutely did not reckon on us jumping around like this, and I don't blame it. That's not a feature of the game. We broke it. That is a Darkness Crystal, though. Oh dear.
Yeah, so Flurry will have 10 key items in Go mode. Bad Karma has 9 key items because he skipped out on that package, and not quite Go mode, but he could get Go mode off of a Dragoon on the moon.
Yeah, if we do have a Moon Dragoon, that might actually be better for Bad Karma? Maybe? Oh wait, no, he still would have to do the Giant, so no, that would be worse. Actually, I don't.
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
If there's a Moon Dragoon and we see him going back for that package now, deciding he wants either a 10th key item or realizing that he needs the character check, possibly. Looks like we're taking a little bit of time with this Leviathan, but Edge finally gets it down. We'll be picking up his magma key.
So yeah, I think some of the question here is what Flurry is going to do first. Is he going to go straight to the giant, perhaps do a bit of a grind in there, and then just round out that objective? Or does he go and say, if there's a cane on that moon, I'm golden, and pick up a gold dragon grind instead if that pans out?
Yeah, those are some definitely interesting questions that the flag set is posing, because we now have those 2 character checks in the package and on the dice, as you mentioned. So there's a lot that is possible here. And deciding which way to go. The giant is a known thing. That boss isn't too difficult, but it still can be really rude sometimes. But you do have an adamant armor, and it's a lot of experience. So it can be most of your grind. You maybe have to do 1 or 2 eggs to feel comfortable with it. But I also know that Flurry is one person who's been running the giant percent, and he's actually one of the main people who wrote and made the giant percent flag set for the ladder. So he's pretty familiar with getting through that giant of Babel with some pretty sketchy party loadouts.
Here is our package of truth. It is a Cecil. Bad Karma wants nothing to do with it. Flurry wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no crystal sword, no doing that package. It looks like we are going to high five in Mysidia again, just kind of at a very close pace between these 2 runners, with Bad Karma's unfortunate skipping over the sealed cave boss and not completing objective number 2.
Yep, that is absolutely the main differentiator between these 2 runners. And of course, this is a community club race, so there are a handful of other runners that we're not featuring here that are also participating. We have no idea how they've approached this seed thus far.
No, we do know that no one has finished yet, but yeah, we don't know who's made what gambles, know where anyone else is. We just know what Flurry and Bad Karma are doing tonight.
Right now, for both of them, that is raising the Lunar Way.
Out of a petition board and rivers to put back in the legend long text cutscene here. I'm sure that would make many runners so happy.
You know, there are randomizers out there that you have basically a built-in stretch break, a built-in drink break. Why not? You know, it's for the well-being of our runners, for their health.
Exactly, like raise the whale, hydrate. Come on. But here is a moment of truth for Bad Karma. Do we have that Dragoon on the moon?
No, we have a summoner on the moon.
She is a fantastic anchor and a fantastic slingshot target, if you want to do that.
Bad Karma is saying nope. But Flurry has also come up to the moon. I assume going to check this character, see that it's Rydia, and say, well, guess we're doing giant.
Yeah, I imagine we get a pretty fast reset here once he sees the green hair.
Yep, there it is. I would be like, could you imagine Cade with green hair? But I could barely imagine Cade, like, not with his helmet on. So it's like, his hair color is irrelevant to the conversation at that point.
Yeah, and Warlink does point out that Kane has to be in the bed in Kaipo at this point.
Oh yeah, we have seen everybody else.
So that could have been a check our runners did early to find out that and never have to actually go and land on the moon at all.
Yeah, but I don't. Did either of these 2 runners ever go to Kaipo at all, even for the item shops?
I don't believe so. It's one of those things with that the waterfall is actually not super interesting and the water passage isn't super interesting to go loot in this flag set, because even though you can loot a little bit faster than you could normally, the underground loot is way more attractive than that loot. Uh, so we don't see runners do what a lot of runners did in the recent Lally Hill League. Of if they had character objectives, they would go loot some of the waterfall and then also check Kaipo to know whether Sand Ruby was a thing. Here, you're not really drawn to the waterfall loot at all, so it takes an extra little bit of thinking to remember to possibly go check and see if Kane could be there.
That does put Bad Karma in the position of having to do some of these lunar fights, looking for that Sand Ruby, or I suppose a Pan or a Rat Tail that could lead in that direction.
Yeah, but we've turned both of these guards to stone.
Yeah, found one of the freer bosses that are out there. Throw on an hourglass, and stone will eventually hit. Flurry has found the perfect spot to jump over. Jump over that one.
Flurry sees 3 green robes, says, "Nah, I'm good. I don't need that. Let me slow down real fast here. Make sure I hop over that trigger tile. I don't need a gauntlet here. It's a lot of XP, but I get a lot of XP out of this next fight."
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a relief to know that it's not at the CPU. Instead, you have Evil Wall at the CPU. That's so much better.
Absolutely. Evil Wall and CPU did a little trading spaces, and they each kind of like each other's home tonight.
Yeah, Evil Wall comes out swinging for 2k on Sid. That's a number.
Yeah, this is not a comfortable boss here. This is, you mentioned earlier, damage on the moon at the Bahamut spot. It's the same here. It's just going to kill people. Just over and over and over again.
Yep. One of those quirks of programming that we like to bring up is there are a lot of bosses that just do magical attacks, and therefore they never really balance the physical stat for those spots because you don't need to. So they end up being very high physical damage in those spots. And then when we swap in a boss that does do physical attacks, well, you have a yikes, is what you do.
Bad Karma doing a very good job there of hopping over the boss in the Rubin room, getting a couple quick treasure chests, and getting out.
So it might be that Flurry gets a whole lot of experience localized entirely on one Lunarian.
Yeah, Flurry is maybe just doing Boo and Friends at the Z fight.
Whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, Evil Wall can't do much to Adamant armor, so Fu is gonna live. But now that's a crystal. You didn't get a lot of XP out of this giant. Flurry, what's your choice? What you doing, my friend?
Yeah, that is a good question to be asking Bad Karma as well. What is his plan going to be? It looks like he's going to be taking that pan and hoping that Sheila has some goods.
Yeah, getting 2 checks is a pretty good gamble, hoping to get that Sand Ruby out of one of those 2. So you can go ahead and get your cane and complete getting your crystal. Flurry not taking the big whale directly to Troya will be passing go and collecting $200 and probably some more experience.
As Bad Karma collects first just a set of Zeus gauntlets. And we'll see what Sheila 2 provides.
And one nice thing about where the sirens ended up is that when you're done with the giant, you get landed back here outside of Cave Eblin, and so you can just hop right in, pick up some more sirens, and grind your heart's content.
Yeah, quite literally hop right in because the hovercraft is way over on the other side of the map. You're not grabbing that. That's time.
We don't have time to go to Silvera. That's so far out of the way. I'll take you like 30 seconds. The chains continue for Bad Karma.
If you didn't have enough key items before, at least we know whatever comes out of this rat tail is either not a key item or is terminal.
Yep, there is nothing left there except the spoon, the legend sword, and the one key item Bad Karma is looking for, the sand ruby.
And he does get it. So Bad Karma is actually in go mode. Whether or not he's in a good position with that party and knowing that Evil Wall is there, it's a different question. But at least he has all the pieces that he needs, does not have to return to that sealed cave.
Bad Karma. Bad Karma, where are you going, my man? I guess he's going to complete the giant. Oh, he does need to do that, so yeah. I would have thought that maybe you might want Kane for that to get some XP for him, but Kane's not living through that Evil Wall fight, so that works.
Kane is, I guess, also a possible anchor. Again, not a great one, but possible base level.
He's a little speedy.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, base level, any character is workable as an anchor.
Yeah, base level Kane is agility 11. In order for one of your characters to be RA1 against that, that would be 22 plus 6 is 28, 29 agility overall.
Yeah, I thought he was a little lower. I thought he was around the 9-10.
No, I put together a spreadsheet of when people are good anchors with various equipments, and I was surprised at Kane being that fast that early. And he got in the, okay, cool, you're never going to be my anchor at base level unless I have a Curse Ring, a Drain Spear, or a Drain Sword. For you, my friend. Why, hello there, Excalibur.
That is a perfectly valid sword for Cecil to be swinging, or for Edge to be throwing. One of those characters is actually in the party.
Yes, one of those characters will continue to be in the party. One of them will continue to not be in the party. Because we didn't have time to go to Silvera to pick up our hovercraft earlier, we definitely don't have time to go pick up Cecil at that package. Let's hope that Bad Karma remembers to skip the Elements fight, or that he can skip the Elements fight.
Not skipping it the first time. Might just be wanting the information of what's there.
Yo, information obtained, reset button pressed. Oh no.
Oh.
Hopefully that was just a mismenu to it, not the right save.
No.
But, oh no.
No. That is Bad Karma's most recent save.
He tented but forgot the save afterwards. That hurts so much.
I guess on the plus side, he knows his route at this point. So he is going straight to the giant from here. And had already decided he wasn't going to take Kane before doing the giant, so that bit still falls afterwards. But man, oof.
Yeah, so not the biggest time loss. He'll still have to redo visiting Young, bopping him, returning to Sheila, getting that rat tail, and then turning in for the Sanderby. But it is then, that's not too long of a time period. So probably overall this was like a 3 to 4 minute loss for him. Painful, but not as the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a psychological hit than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. He might have said words that we cannot repeat on air. to himself, unfortunately, for that. Doesn't have the Excalibur anymore for Edge to throw, which would have been nice in this upcoming fight against Evil Wall at the CPU spot.
Yeah, it isn't bothering with any of this treasure again. There wasn't much here other. I guess the Gungnir Spear is a decent dart, but yeah, just mosey on through at that point.
Exactly. There's nothing game-changing out of what you could have had there. If you had gotten another adamant armor out of that chest rather than Excalibur, you'd probably redo it, but not worth it there. But looks like Flurry is done with his omelet making, is heading back up to Troya in the Falcon. I assume we're going to see a save and then a pass turn in, and then we have a very important question to ask.
Yep, this is plenty of preparation for that fight. I saw a character at level 61. That's some good levels. Good levels for kicking a butt, I dare say.
Yes, absolutely.
So all that remains is to wonder about the nature of that butt. Who does it belong to? Is it adorable? Is it devastatingly terrifying? There are many questions, many mysteries to be pondered here on the moon.
And unlike a television show, we will solve that mystery very shortly. Flurry showing you that Zromus is very willing to talk to you before you pick a fight with him. Evil Wall is cooperating very, very well on Bad Karma's side. His side does not like Adamant Fu and has punched him exclusively, I believe.
As Bad Karma clears through this Evil Wall fight and gets through that item chain to get his Sand Ruby, over on Flurry 14's side, we must ask, whose butt are we kicking?
Butt's got to shake a couple times first. Sid's got to step out and say, hey, here's a crystal. Here, crystal, crystal, crystal. Bad Karma, though, gets the full team experience train going on. We did have Edge and Rosa punch, but they both got up. And then that's the Beesimus.
I don't recognize this one. It looks like a book. It looks literate. It also might be possessed.
Yeah, is this what happens to the Book of Medora if you never pick it up in Link to the Past seed?
Maybe? Skull Kitty informing us this is Bebuzaboo? Something along those lines, from the Chocobo Tales games. But no, I would say books. They do have spines, but not butts. I think that is how you approach the anatomy of a book.
Yep, that sounds right.
Oh, whatever. It's whatever the nature of the book. Is it evil? Is it friendly? Is it just really warm? And that's what all the smoke and stuff is coming from. I mean, we're throwing nukes at it. We're throwing white at it. We're doing plenty of damage. We're good.
Yeah, some very classic reflex strats here from Flurry. Looks like Paladin took that initial counter nuke, so took a quick nap, but we'll soon be throwing out some more nukes. Scala does also remind us that the books have back covers.
This is true.
I know I have purchased many a book after enjoying the fine copy on the back cover.
I'm also just now thinking of I I think it's in multiple of the later Final Fantasy games of a book that just full on has a face for the cover. Like it's not even like being clever about it. It's just literally a face. They're quite scary if you've seen them. They're a little distressing.
I have not, but it's really just an upgrade from an evil wall having a face, I guess, maybe?
Yeah.
Question mark?
It's like it's a portable evil wall.
I wonder if we can have the Book of Stabbing Miss import the Book of Stabbing from Slay the Spire into Free Enterprise here.
Now I'm imagining the ebook of stabbing, like you just have it on like a little iPad.
That would be amazing. Bad Karma has narrowed down where Kane is hopping into Kaipo. Will soon be getting his cane and his crystal. Don't know if he is ready for Z in terms of levels, if he feels comfortable with it, or just going to be doing a little bit of grinding afterwards. Or if he did grinding earlier and I missed it.
I didn't really see much grinding on Bad Karma's side, but getting that full party to stay up for the CPU fight, like that was throwing a good number of levels at people. So
yeah, I think I saw a bunch of 7s and 8s in that level gain, so that gets you a good bit of the way.
we are seeing quite a few big bangs hitting on Flurry's side. I think that was the third?
Yeah, a surprising amount for something that looked like it was either pure reflect or mostly reflex shots. So definitely more work than I think he expected to have to do in this fight.
Yeah, because again, those nukes, those white casts, those were going out for some pretty solid damage.
Yeah, and Pelham gets up just in time to get knocked back down again.
Is this hitting the snooze alarm? It's like 5 more minutes, please.
Oh, that's both the best and worst alarm in the history of mankind.
I know. Bad Karma, though, is over here in Troya. That's where you turn in the pass. He might be feeling comfortable with this party. Could be seeing Zeroma's fight on his side pretty soon.
Yeah, doing a little bit of shopping. Looks like he picks up some ethers. He's got at least one Cure 3 in the inventory. I imagine he's looking for a curse ring out of that armor shop. And doing a whole bunch more selling, so curious to see what his strategy is for Z. Has some pretty solid levels, low to mid 40s.
Yeah, not overwhelming, not optimal for a nice cozy fight, but very much in the doable department.
Yeah, you're definitely not unhappy to have this party and say, nah, I can do this. Especially with Adamant Fu there to keep the party alive and healed up. But Flurry is throwing out the damage. That indeed is a nice quad 9s for the defeating of Zeromus, of the Buzimus, and I believe taking first place in tonight's race.
Yep, that is a first place overall. 1:11:13. GG to Flurry. I'll see if we can get him in to have a quick post-race chat.
And I was hopped in immediately. GG, Flurry.
Thank you. Let's forget the last 5 minutes of that run.
I
Everything.
mean, that was a great classic reflex strats, wasn't it?
It's funny. Like, I went into the giant thinking, I guess it's time to uncork Fu and Friends. I have that Ether 2, and then I had to use the Ether 2 on the evil wall, so I'm like, alright, well, I've got 10 key items, so I've got a good whole day to grind set up. I should be fine. What's the worst that could happen? And then I just botched that reflect fight so horribly, but hey, got through it.
Yeah, we were feeling like it was running a bit longer than the numbers would imply, but you got through at the end of the day, and coming in first overall, it's nothing to be ashamed of for sure.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things where I'm a little more upset, like, at myself for the end game execution. I have a tendency to overthink the Z fight right before the Z fight, which usually leads to like 4 or 5 different menuing instances. And again, like, I tried to get cute with Bluff, and I tried to get cute with a direct nuke instead of using a Silk Web, which, hey, you don't have RA1 on everybody. You probably shouldn't do that, and I did that. So, yeah, like, ideally, that's probably like a $1.07 if I don't mess up. And then the other thing I didn't mark on my tracker where Cure 3s and Elixirs were, and I think, now that I think about it, Elixirs were in Evelyn Cave, which would have been nice to have for that fight, and I wouldn't have had to grind either, so, lots of things to practice coming out of this race, but flag set's really fun.
Yeah. So let's flip to like the beginning of the seed. We saw you kind of sticking more to the overworld and doing stuff that pushed me to jump made faster, but didn't break the logic or anything. Bad Karma was breaking logic left and right. What was the mindset on? No, I'm going to stay with what is logical, what's on the overworld, and eventually we'll get underground.
Just speed of checks. I like to get a third character up to at least like 15-20 before I start like going underground, mostly because I want characters 4 and 5 to get that slingshot. Now with Palom in the starting party, I would not be opposed to someone immediately going underground, but then that also counts on you finding an hourglass in the coffin. They were there, so that's probably the optimal strategy, but I feel like with Sid and the pretty good loot I had to start, I was like, Antlion Cave, the Ordeals fight, and Hobbs, those 3 will be fine. That'll get me enough levels to do like adequate damage. I'm not gonna like lose a ton of time by not having Quake. Let's go underground, see if Siren's there. Sure enough, they're there. And once you get Quake, like, all those overworld shops or overworld checks are like super easy and done in one shot. So I kind of feel like on this flag set, that's where that leans. And not getting Darkness Crystal until very late kind of solidified that. So I think it's fun to do stuff like, super early Zot. I'm not sure it's 100% optimal, but I tend to get to the point where you can clear all the overworld and Dwarf Castle really quickly, do that, and then figure out where you go from there.
Those are a lot of very good thoughts. So how did you enjoy the CPU Evil Wall swap tonight?
I'm sorry, 1 second. Let me pause this. Can you repeat that for me?
How did you enjoy the CPU and Evil Wall trading places tonight?
I'm okay with it. Evil Wall could be in a lot worse places, and by worse places, I mean seeds where I don't have an adamant armor. And that was surprisingly one of the Evil Wall or one of the CPU fights that I didn't horribly botch. So like that, getting the reflected nuke on time like that came out really well. So that was cute. There there are definitely worse bosses that could have been in both of those spots, so I was pretty thankful for it. Adamant armor does kind of nullify quite a bit, but I mean, in the event somebody didn't actually get that pink tail and has to take the evil wall there, that is going to be kind of rude. But I would imagine most runners are going to get that adamant armor.
Certainly both you and Bad Karma had it at a relatively early point, and I'm pretty sure you both put it on the Foo, if not immediately, then pretty shortly after.
Yeah, once Fu got Nuke and Quake, he got it. But that nice little synergy there with the 5 Protect Ring start and the Adamant armor, so you didn't have to worry about the Adamant bug. You don't get that very often, so that was pretty cool to like. You could unequip and de-equip adamant armors as much as you want, so that was a pretty nice. That was a pretty nice circumstance. I know that's not going to happen every time, but I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely some good knowledge. Remember that those Protect Rings do give you elemental resists, and so counteract that adamant armor setting the strong weakness.
Yeah, I mean, adamant armor is pretty good, y'all. I would have been a little concerned if a darkness crystal popped up early with that adamant armor, because then all of a sudden with adamant Fu or even adamant edge, to be perfectly honest, with that gear, a lot of those moon fights get a lot easier, and the 40 HP boss you can just jump right over, so a moon play could have been in the cards, but I think given where Darkest Crystal was, that wasn't as likely.
That is very true, and Bad Karma did actually find the standard beat where Kane was.
Oh, where was that?
That was behind a pan and a rat tail behind the ribbon room.
Oh, Lord. I mean, yeah, early Darkness Crystal, that's a winning play. But I think on this flag set, you're not usually going to rush to the tower without the tower key, because 22,000 HP is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than everything else.
Well, I think I am done with questions for our race owner tonight. Do you have any more Hotfin?
Nope. Any last thoughts, Flurry?
Just shout out to this flag set. Like I still don't consider myself to be terribly good at push B to jump. But between this flag set and the ladder flag set, it is just a enjoyable romp through all of Final Fantasy IV without having to worry about things like pesky key items blocking your way. And I think it's really good practice if you want to work on punching above your weight class or optimizing a whole bunch of boss strategies without worrying about routing so much. Like, this is the way to do it. So yeah, I hope we get even more people running this. It's a great time for me personally, and yeah, appreciate you guys taking the time to do this commentary and tracking, and I look forward to watching Asuka draw 7s and 0s in Uno. And yeah, y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Flurry, and you as well.
Yep, and as we were wrapping that up, we'll just go through some of the other finishers that we had. We did see Bad Karma finishing 5th place overall, a 119.32. Ahead of that, we had Microcorgs in 2nd with a 112.49. Bro in 3rd with a 113.25. And Poidrak takes 4th with a 118.27. And I do believe we have Bad Karma here in the booth with us. So Bad Karma, GG on that run.
I'm not sure there was anything good about that run.
Well, you know what? That ending had swag.
Yeah, that I was like, oh man, I really hope this nuke kills him, because I needed to do another ether to get 2 nukes off.
Yeah, you put your faith in Adamant Fu, and Adamant Fu delivered.
He absolutely did, and couldn't find a bow to save my life. That's what I was shopping for towards the end. Is like, if I was gonna try Zerk and couldn't find anything better than an archer bow in a shop. So, yeah, and then that giant reset.
That hurt us.
It hurt me too. After already resetting out of that package early when I'm doing a character hunt, I'm like, man, that's gonna suck if that's Kane. And luckily it wasn't. But the reason I went back for it is because I was sitting at 9 key items. So in case I had to take a fight, or if Kane was the Lunar Deus, I wanted to have 10 key items for the CPU spot. So that having to do that twice really set me back too.
Yeah, those are definitely a couple of the painful moments for you. And you did hop over that sealed cave boss, which was actually an objective to complete, because in order to complete the complete sealed cave objective, you have to fight the boss.
I forgot that it was 4 out of 5.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's a certain comedy though.
Yeah.
Forgetting that, and then yeah. We were very curious. Like, did you just forget that was how the objective worked or whatever?
Yeah.
But...
No, I totally I honestly I glanced through the objectives, forgot it was 4 out of 5. I didn't even see the 5th objective. So, wow, that would have been a whole lot earlier then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so the fact that you did that and then also had your unfortunate reset, but we're still only, 8 minutes behind Flurry for the
Yeah.
win? Like, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, man, because that would have been, I wouldn't have had to go to the moon. I wouldn't have had to redo the rat tail chain. Or the pan chain, I mean. Whew. Because I would have went straight to tower after that. Looking for that darkness crystal. I mean, no, I had to pass at that point, I think. Because Sheila 1 had the pass, so I wouldn't have even been looking. Well, I would have been looking for darkness to do.
Yeah,
that,
we did need darkness this seed because it was required, because two things were gated by it, but you only would have needed to do one and not both that you ended up doing.
Oh well, that's what you get for doing this. My first season 3, and I looked at the flags, trying not to make a mistake, and sure put on a great showing of what not to do. So.
But even if it is, what not to do, again, you came in with a really good time. There were solid battles in there. Getting everyone alive through that evil wall, that was a little bit of luck, but a little bit of skill too. So, yeah. I
mean, having Heroine Robe Rosa the entire time, I was not worried about agility whatsoever. That's why Sid just, is great to have. I wasn't worried about him getting levels because Rosa was going to outspeed him all day. And then once I got that pigtail after Baron, I was like, yeah, we're not going to worry about agility here.
Yeah, absolutely. And to echo Hupfen, definitely, even though there were a couple of what not to do things, you put in a great time. And just a reminder of how even experienced runners who are looking at the flags totally miss them when they're newer flags to them. And it's so easy to skip over stuff because you get so used to things. We didn't see anyone throw out a life glitch today, so that was really good. That's the thing I've been most interested to see if people are going to do. I did it in some of the first practice seeds that I did once I came up with the flag set. So I'm expecting to see more of that as it goes on. People just kind of so used to throwing a life glitch on that officer.
Oh yeah, and I was actually watching PK's doing Jump Club last week, and with his D machine and debacle, or whatever he called that, where he swore that Rosa was wearing a heroine robe instead of a white shirt and missing life casts.
Yeah, it's little thing. You get so used to the little things, and you don't even realize it until it stops working for you all of a sudden.
That's right. All in all, it's a good flag set, Ansel. I do like the changes for the season. I'm looking forward to doing more. Hopefully next week I'll remember it's 4 out of 5.
Yep, just get a little bit every time, and you'll be taking
That's right.
those race wins real soon.
Oh man, was it close before I reset? Like I should have only been like a couple minutes behind Flurry then, if based on when he finished, because he finished right when I was starting Zeromus, I think.
Yeah, I think we guesstimated that it was like a 3 or 4 minute time loss for the reset.
Yeah, doing the giant first really helped because I didn't have to do that twice like I did the first time. But I don't even know what happened. I literally thought I saved it there, and I was just gonna face check that boss just to see if it was something stupid easy. And saw it was Gauntlet, said nope. And then I was like, wait, why am I back on the moon? So I really did think I saved there though. So
Yeah, we saw you tent, and I know tenting it's so common to save when you're in that same kind of menu that I can totally see doing the same thing.
yeah. Oh well, it happens. At least I can say I lost not due to rando gonna be rando or a 50-50 choice. So I feel like I routed it really well, and like I said, it would have been a way different if I had. What was the Boston Steel game since I jumped over it?
CPU.
Oh. All right.
So, I mean,
well,
very doable, but
yeah.
obnoxious.
Oh yeah. I mean, with Adamant Foo, everything's doable. So. Do want to thank Antidale Hupfin. I'll look forward to watching this one back. Ikir, thanks for tracking. Auska for rolling this thing. I can't even blame you for my misfortunes. I can only blame myself. So, but thanks everybody for doing a restream, for putting us on. Hopefully everything looked good.
It absolutely did, and thank you, Red Karma, for running and allowing us to feature you tonight.
Yep. And see y'all next time.
Yep. GG.
All right, GG. And yeah, I believe that will do it for us. Over here.
Yep. I want to thank you, Hupfin, for being a great co-com, and like all the runners have thanked Ikir and Asuka for being the back of the house tonight, doing a wonderful job.
And I believe we'll be sending folks over to raid the random game.
Who looks like is playing some really long objectives, Fiend Percent with Giant and a Dark Matter Hunt. So we're going to see a whole lot of the game here from the random game. So thank you all for watching tonight, and hope you have a great evening.